I want to ask everyone to please stand, and I've asked Mr. Williams to do the moment of silence and pledge.
Okay, moment of silence, please. Salute. Pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Declaration of conflict. Per TCA 49-2-202, Board of Education members who have relatives per the statute, relatives means spouse, parent, parent-in-law, child, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, grandparent, grandchild, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, or any other person who resides in the same household as you, employed by the system, are asked to raise your hands to identify yourself. Do you certify that the votes that you make tonight will be in the best interest of the school system, regardless of the effect that your vote may have upon the employment of your relative or relatives? I do. Okay, I have some amendments to the agenda. We are going to remove 2-9-6. We're going to remove 2-9-7. We're going to add to the agenda, and we're going to label it 2-910A. We'll put it in after the tenured teachers, and that's a memorandum of understanding between the Monroe County Board of Education and Sweetwater City Board of Education regarding transportation services. So if you have any questions during that, we'll answer them if you want to look at that. I'm sure you already have.
Madam Chairman, I move we amend the agenda, omitting 2-9-6, 2-9-7, and adding 2-9-10A.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Before we proceed, I just want to mention Steve Rogers in his passing, that we all just remember that family in our prayers. He served on our board for several years, and I just want to make that mention tonight. 2-9-3, approval of the consent and regular agenda as amended.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the 2-9-4, approval of the January budget amendments.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion?
Any big ones, Dale? Any 100,000, 50,000 ones?
No.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Could I ask Dale a question? Our fund balance, where's it at right now?
After we took the money out for skilled services, I think we're right at 7.88 million.
That's just about unheard of, but that's good. It's unreal, ain't it? I've been on there when we didn't have about 2 million.
2-9-8. Approval of the State Board of Education required update to Board Policy 4.700, testing programs as recommended by the Policy Committee.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. I got ahead of myself. So 2-9-5, approval of the minutes from the January 12th, 2023 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. 2-9-9, approval of the 2024-2025 Monroe County School Calendar.
Make a motion we approve.
Any discussion?
Any controversies with it? Everybody happy with it?
I hope so.
I mean, sometimes, times pass.
There are some changes. If you looked at it closely, there are several changes, so.
We've got an Easter day on Monday, is that right?
And looked at that, but we got a whole week at Thanksgiving.
Right.
There were ample opportunities for feedback from everyone. We did it a little differently this year, opened it up for lots and lots and lots and lots of feedback and discussion. So hopefully everybody feels they've contributed, so I hope we're happy with it. I told them I would be here. It really didn't matter what the calendar turned out to be, so.
Roll call. We got to make it interesting.
Of course. Mr. Richard Bettis? Ms. Joe Cagle? Yes. Ms. Sharon Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Ingram?
Yes.
Mr. Freddie Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. John Ridgel?
Yes.
Dr. Lon Shootman?
Aye.
Mr. Don Weiss?
Yes.
Mr. Dean Williams?
Yes. I forgot some of them's name. It's been so long.
Motion
since we've had a
passes.
Roll call.
Two 9-10, approval of tenure for the following teachers or professional employees.
Make a motion we accept. Second motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Windsor has something for each of you, so Mary Parker, teacher at Madisonville Primary School. Jerica Bolton, teacher at Madisonville Intermediate School. Kristen Garza, guidance counselor at Massville Middle School. Caitlin White, physical education teacher at Von Orr Elementary School. She's not here. Maggie Hedge, teacher at Von Orr Elementary School. Pam Maples, librarian at Von Orr Elementary School. Amy Garland, teacher at Von Orr Elementary School. Becky Gibson, teacher at Von Orr Elementary School. Trey Tatum, physical education teacher at Von Orr Middle School. Dakota Stevenson, teacher at Sequoia High School. Trista Jones, teacher at Telco Plains High School. Kyle Parks, teacher at Telco Plains High School. Patrick Taylor, teacher at Telco Plains High School. Miss Tina Brown, district-wide school psychologist.
Okay, if y'all will squish together, kind of like a cheerleader picture, that way we can get a group picture of everybody. And I want y'all to know that I did try to get them to do cartwheels or tap dances on their way up for entertainment purposes, but, you know. Okay, now we can, we gotta have a front row too, okay? Come on, Maggie, get this fixed, you know what it's supposed to look like. Okay, thank you.
We have to hold this, or?
You don't have to hold it, but it's cute if you do. Okay, here we go. And we're all looking at me. Yay, 10-year people. Smile. Awesome. Congratulations, Congratulations to each of you. I apologize if I messed up all those individual pictures. No, we're good. But it was wonderful to see all of your smiles. Thank you for all of you do.
Okay, 2-9-10A. Memorandum of Understanding between the Monroe County Board of Education and Sweetwater Board of Education regarding transportation services. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So has the Sweetwater City Board already approved this since Ms. Levin gives signatures on it, is that right?
Correct.
I assume that is correct. Is Lisa here?
It's on mine.
Yeah, if she has signed it, I am assuming so.
Okay.
127 it says here.
Can you sort of explain to the,
What the actual MOU with Sweetwater City does, it's for the transportation department. Basically, for any item that we are unable to take action on with Sweetwater City Schools, their director of schools, Mr. Borf, would be responsible for. So if it's a personnel issue, a discipline issue that involves a particular Sweetwater City school or discipline policy, start times, the procedures that are individual to Sweetwater City and may be different than ours, then they will be responsible for enforcing. So it just gives him the authority to step in and take care of Sweetwater City issues that we can't address because we don't have say in their policies and procedures. Good.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. I'd also like to mention that Sweetwater City, the Sweetwater Middle School, boys basketball has gone to state.
Junior high.
Junior high. Junior high's gone to state. So,
Final four, they're in the final four.
Final Four at state. So
Get
that's
them
it.
in. That's great.
Yeah. Okay. 2-9-11, Director of Schools report.
Okay, our enrollment is up from last year at this time. We have 4,873 students enrolled And we're noticing now that that is increasing throughout the district, not just at the virtual school level, so we're happy to report that. Our student absences remain low, which we're also happy about that. I'm getting a lot of evening texts of people who are very upset that I've changed the weather pattern and everyone seems to be well now because we are still in school, so it's become quite the joke. That's why I was so happy to see these people smiling. I wasn't sure how they would come in because I know these days are long. January was the longest year I've lived, I believe. So, Resilient Schools training has been offered and many teachers have participated in that, and all of the feedback that we've received so far has been positive, so that's very exciting for the district. Math walks have started, and as Dr. Strickland already said, we're excited about the purchase of our new textbooks. To be able to do that, I know, is very exciting in the schools and in our classrooms. Teachers have been anxiously reviewing books and giving feedback, so we are pleased to be able to do that. Summer school planning is well underway. We talked about that some already, so lots of plans there, lots of things to do and things to get in order, and we are working on that. And just a reminder that we do have a little reception across the hallway for those who received tenure tonight, so we hope that you'll join us over there. Thank you very much.
2-9-12, any other business the board feels necessary to discharge its duties?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
can we get an update on the boiler at Sweetwater High School and the gym floor over there? Have we got heat and air and all that in?
Philip, can you say it quicker than I can look it up?
Yes. The HVAC for over there is still slated to be finished on spring break.
So spring break,
Yes.
and the gym floor will be up over in the next school year.
No, I'm gonna try to do it this school year.
Okay.
As soon as they get done with everything inside the gym, then I'll follow right up with the gym floor recoat.
What about the heating around building?
The boiler, we've got, the estimates in, PO's been pulled, to replace the main controller and the flue stack for the boiler.
So we've been without heat, what, a month now?
No, sir, we have heat.
We have heat in the round building and the gym,
Yes, sir.
so the boiler's working.
Yes, sir.
That should be good.
Hey, Philip, I have a question about Rural School and the leaks in the gymnasium. I know there's leaks in the school, but that's a new floor in the gymnasium.
Yeah, we're addressing those. Our current roofer we're developing a plan with him to try to figure out. It's been an ongoing issue, and we've slowed them down a whole lot. It's not near as bad. We've got one or two now every time it rains, and so we're working on those. I'm waiting on him to get back with me. Hopefully, so it should be sometime this coming week, and we should have a better plan of action for that one. And for the dining rooms, when we made the repairs and put up the new gutters and stuff, it created a few more issues because that roof is old. We've been working on patching those, but the roofers are dispatched, POs are pulled, and they are working to get those fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Madam Director, are we using the drug dogs in our high schools?
We are. Actually, I did not get to my office until about 4 o'clock today because we went to 2 high schools today.
I know 10 or 15, 20 years ago, 10 or 15, whatever, that we went to outside dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew we were coming.
Mm-hmm.
I know that most of this board changed it over the concern about the $10,000. Do you feel like now that we would be better off, does this board think that we would be better off using an outside source with the better trained dogs and maybe no knowledge of us coming into our schools?
I can't speak to what the board would prefer on that. They did make the choice in what direction they wanted to go in both areas. They did the outside contract and then they went back to local. I can tell you today that I feel confident that myself and Captain Vineyard and the person bringing the dog were the only 3 people that knew, aside from the sheriff. I didn't have any reason to believe at either school that anybody had prior knowledge. We went at 8 a.m. this morning to Tellico, and we went immediately to Sequoia. I think Dr. Parham could probably tell you even he was unaware. Mr. Harris, are you here? Did anyone notify you ahead of time?
You walked in my office.
So
Okay, well, that's good.
I felt confident, and that's one thing that I expressed to them when they asked me. They said, what do you need to feel like we can provide the same service? And I said, we just want to make sure that when we go, that there isn't someone alerted ahead of time.
So you're comfortable with
I
the way
was
we're doing
comfortable,
it?
I can say today that I was comfortable with it. I've not experienced anything in the past to be able to compare it to until now. But today I felt like it went well. And I was notified last night, and of course I can tell you I didn't tell anyone. So I felt like we were well received in the way that everything went. It's a process, and it is definitely an interruption to the school day, but I think it's necessary, and I hope that it sends the message that we're trying to send, is that we're serious and we're going to come and we're going to be back and we're going to continue to be there.
Okay.
How many times have they gone this year taking the dogs into the schools?
I've participated in probably at least a half a dozen. This is the first time I think that I've gone into one at Sequoia and Tellico High School this year, probably.
So all schools have gotten at least a half dozen, all schools have gotten at least a half dozen services?
No, I've done at least half a dozen myself that I've participated in. There have been some that I may not be aware of, like if a city school, if one of the city officers calls and says, hey, we've had some calls, we're going to bring them in, I may not know, or if they've called me and told me. They do let me know, but if they call me and I can't go, then I don't always get to. So I can't tell you exactly how many they've done. As far as the counting, Rusty could give us a count, I'm sure. He keeps up with that. I can get it for you if you.
Another issue, are our SRO officers, are they making their presence known in the schools? I mean, they're out.
They are, yes, I think they are. I don't think I know administration is represented here. I think they would definitely tell us if they felt like there were any issues with that. I think we have a very good working relationship with our SROs and our administration and with central office as well. We all communicate freely, and I think that everything's going well with that.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I've got a good one now for you and Madam Director.
Okay.
It's been mentioned, thrown around a little bit. When we were working on this transportation issue with Sweetwater City about Sweetwater High School, maybe working with their board to see if there's anything on the table that we could maybe turn Sweetwater City High School over to the city system. Have
I haven't heard that. I know in past years, it's kind of just been thrown around, on the board a little bit, but nothing ever presented so that's
I know,
new to me.
Mr. Bettis,
I've heard the same type thing. But I don't know what that entails if we're looking.
could you address that a little,
I can tell you that when it's been brought up in the past, there is a process. It's not something that can just be simply done. There has to be
Sure.
an agreement on behalf of the city. There would have to be an agreement here. There would have to be discussion with county commission. There are steps that you go through. It's not just a simple shut and dry, close and dry process. But we can check on what that would involve.
Do you feel-
It ought to go to the legislature, because they're the ones that approve the school district. So that would change their district, so they have to approve that.
Is Sweetwater wanting to do that, Dean? Is that what you've heard?
it's a bit, this transportation contract's been a kind of a, you can't tell another system what to do.
Right.
And it was mentioned, and do you think this is a good time if we were ever going to do it? I know it's been mentioned in the past, and you'd heard it, and I hadn't even talked to you about it, and you mentioned in the prior meeting. Do you feel like, I know you addressed it in that meeting with the lawyer, do you feel like this would be a good time if we decided to do that, and if Sweetwater City was willing to take it?
If that's something that Sweetwater City wanted and you as a board wanted to go in that direction, then I think when you're making a big transition with transportation, with zoning, with the fact that you have a huge manufacturing facility coming in there that's going to have an increase in population, anytime you're looking at making those long-term decisions, if you're looking at making a change like that, I think that during this type of transition, it is a good time, if that's something that both sides wanted to pursue.
Do you
But
feel
I'm not
like
sure of
they're
all the
open to
steps.
it?
I feel like they would be open to it, the city of Sweetwater, but I don't know what entails on the state legislature. Is that what you're saying? We got to go through the state of Tennessee?
Yes, because of the school district, the way it was designed. It's designed for K-8, not K-12. And I know
Over
some,
there in Sweetwater, and I never heard this, and I know I go all the way back to 3 or 4 superintendents ago, they tried it and the city didn't want it, but I've never heard that mentioned, not one single time, and I'm pretty active within the community.
But you've heard it mentioned.
I have, yes.
I know, Mr. Williams, probably 20 years ago, the city council wanted to take it, and the price that was given was astronomical in terms of Sweetwater City Schools are taking it over, and the city taking it over, because the city'd have to do the purchasing. So, it was dropped then, and I haven't heard much since.
That
Mr.
might
Williams,
not be an issue now.
I'll pick you up back off of John. I'd say we were talking about the same area way back, 4 superintendents ago, John?
Yes.
They didn't want it.
Well, we just throwed this around with the lawyer, just in a meeting that, then Richard, he mentioned it just out of the blue. I hadn't even talked to him about it. You mentioned it tonight before the meeting. And he says they're open to it, which we've got to meet with them. Maybe it might be something we want to look into that, maybe we set up a mutual meeting with them. And I mean, it just looks to me like it would be a whole lot easier on the county and the city.
do you want our attorney to get us the steps that it would take? And
Yes.
Dr. Windsor email it to us, just showing that the steps it would take for something like that?
I mean,
Okay.
if we're not wasting our time, I mean, Richard's already stated that they're kind of open to it, and if they're open to it,
I don't know who they are, but I haven't heard
City
say-
School Board, right? Is that what,
I
that's
speak-
who they are.
I'd speak with several school board members, and I've never heard that mentioned one time, Richard.
Yeah.
And it may have just been a conversation, but we did talk, we just throwed it around with the lawyer in there, and it might be a good time to do it. And they've got all that growth coming with Red Stag and all that money.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, it'd be, the city of Sweetwater takes the first step, not us.
Okay. Well, I just thought if our board wanted that information, and then if, like you say, if Sweetwater City, I guess they would approach us if that's something they want to do. But we could get the information just for us.
There wouldn't be nothing wrong with us approaching them, though, with the offer that we would set down. If they say, no, we're not interested, then that's the end of the deal. But they may think it's...
That'd take a vote on the board to do that.
Well, that's why you'd have the meeting with them, and if it come to, if you knew right off the bat that it wasn't gonna fly, it'd be over. But
Okay, we'll get the information. If that's something we want to put on the agenda next month, we'll do that. If someone, if we want to do that, we can put it on the agenda. If we don't want to, I'm sure Jens will hear
it's a
more
pretty
talk
sticky
after this
issue
meeting
with
tonight,
Sweetwater.
so you'll know what Sweetwater City wants
But
to do.
it's a sticky issue with the
Yes.
territory. That's why we went through all this process right here
Mm-hmm.
with this memorandum, I mean, it's just a sticky issue over there.
Okay,
I'll get the steps and send them out.
thank you. 2-9-13, Policy Committee meeting, 5:30 PM prior to the March board meeting.
Madam Chairperson, I didn't get a chance to say something when he quit.
I'm sorry.
You jumped right in there, yeah. I didn't know he was finished. I thought he had a longer list.
No, I just got notes right here. No, you just butt in anything.
I want to thank Sequoia High School for the invitation during National School Board Week to come out and visit. I had a tremendous visit. Dr. Shootman will probably say the same thing. We had some young ladies from the Beta Club take us around, and I'd been to the gym several times, the softball field several times. I'd never been up and down the halls, especially when kids were there. Super job. Thank you so much, and it looks great, and I'm talking about not just the building, everything else. Also, Coca Creek invited us to come eat lunch, and Ms. Dalton, thank you so much for that. Had a great, if you ever want a good lunch, just go to Coca Creek. You get all you want, and you get a great lunch. And it's just a great time there, too. Thank you so much for inviting us.
I second that motion.
And Mr. Williams, believe it or not now, he was at Coca Creek for lunch. He behaved very well.
I told you.
Very well. I don't know why he can't do that, you know, when we come
Coca
here
Creek
sometime.
is my little pet project now.
Obviously it is, yes.
It is.
Well, you talked to Ms. Dalton like she was a
It's that
great star
little
worker,
red
you know?
school, that little school in the mountains.
I'd like to say thank you to all the schools. I know it's hard for the board to get out to all the schools, and if we can't during that week, maybe we can at other times, and we appreciate you all. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
You think that'll get them stirred up in Sweetwater now? Well, they may do it. I know. Yeah, well.